You on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, helping both the public and lawyers since 1899. They are the largest suburban bar association in the country. The Nassau County Bar Association offers clinics where you can meet privately with an attorney to prevent or solve legal problems involving Hurricane Sandy, foreclosure, wills, or elder law. Speakers on almost any legal topic are also available to schools or community groups. They can also help lawyers advance their legal careers and offer a place to network. Learn more about the Nassau County Bar Association by calling 516-747-4070 or visit nassaubar.org.
Once again, we continue with Law You Should Know. From the Mineola Law Firm of Shane, Dox, Denise, Corker, and Sauer, here is attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
Hi, this is Ken Landau, and welcome back to Law You Should Know. We're talking with Joyce Behr. She's an attorney, but she's had a distinguished legal career, and now she helps people prepare for the LSAT, which is the exam required for law school. As you've heard, she also helps people prepare for many other tests, including the GRE, the GMAT, the SAT, and the ACT. And you've heard about some of what the composition of the LSAT is and strategy. And we have some additional questions for her from Brandon Kaufman, who's helping with the interview. He's a student right here on WHPC, and you can hear him when the news is given every day at 4 o'clock Eastern Time here on WHPC.
What are the general skills that a person should have or try to better develop when they approach the LSAT?
All right. To do well on the LSAT, Brandon, a person needs a strong vocabulary in order to understand the reading passages. And he or she has to be able to do reading at an in-depth level and to read analytically and critically. The reading passages on the exam, I think, are rather dense and dry. But having a strong base of general knowledge is also helpful. I think if a person is widely read, they have an advantage. I would suggest regularly reading newspapers like the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, and that would help a person increase their vocabulary, also strengthen their reading comprehension skills, and just in general widen their base of general knowledge and frame of reference on many different topics. And the LSAT is a long test, and it's not easy. A person has to move through it at a pretty fast pace to finish it. So another consideration is I think people have to make an effort to build up their powers of focus and concentration. And being a regular reader can help increase a person's ability to be attentive and to focus.
And for reading on the paper, would it be best for someone to read something related to law rather than just something in general?
Yes, I think that would be helpful to become familiar with some of the general concepts and the terminology. And
also the idea of analysis. If they're reading the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, it is going to analyze issues.
Yes, right. People can read news articles just to learn how to read facts and draw facts from an article, as well as reading editorials or opinion pieces, and keeping in mind the distinction between those.
Maybe detecting biases?
Yes, that's exactly why personally I do read every day. I read the Wall Street Journal, which is basically a conservative Republican paper, Wall Street-based, business-based, and I also read the New York Times, which is liberal Democratic. They are becoming more and more divergent. I figure the truth is somewhere in the middle.
But you're looking for the real facts.
Right. No fake news.
What college courses can best help a student prepare for the LSAT exam?
I think courses such as English, British literature on the liberal arts side, history, political science are helpful in preparing for the exam. Also, taking math courses or science courses that are very rigorous and require a lot of focus, concentration, memorization, and critical thinking skills are good too. I think anything that's demanding and rigorous is helpful.
And so anything that requires analytical thinking, whether it's statistics or philosophy,
yes,
or perhaps even history?
Yes, and I would say in philosophy, a basic introductory course to logic where they use Venn diagrams would be very helpful. I would say those logic classes that involve Venn diagrams are directly applicable to the LSAT.
Okay, tell us about some of your experiences and some of your how you can get someone ready and coach them and prepare them to be successful in the LSAT.
Yes. Okay.
From the college grad to the person who's doing it as a second career to someone who did not grow up in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What I use, the prep book I use is the one prepared by the Law School Admission Council, and I think they put out the best and most authentic, useful, and primary materials. The LSAT, they create the test, they administer the test. So I would only turn to other materials, say like Kaplan or Princeton, if a person had exhausted the materials available through the LSAC. And I think what I do is with students is I break them in. I start with the easiest parts of the test. I give them some general pointers and familiarize them with the test like we've discussed today, Ken. But then I have students put their toe in the water by starting out with the easier parts of the test, then working up to reading comprehension, and then I save writing for last. And the logic games come further on. So I try to help a student build up their confidence by going from easier to harder, and I give homework on vocabulary. Vocabulary, even for pretty bright, well-educated people, can be pretty challenging on this test.
And you're going to customize your approach. Mm-hmm. And it's a question for you. You're going to customize it and help them to get rid of their weaknesses.
Yes, and their weaknesses, people generally do, if there is a weakness, it's generally the same type of thing, where it's weakness in vocabulary or weakness in reading comprehension or focus. A lot of students even college grads, need help in writing.
And prior experience a student has in writing, whether through college courses or work experience or even hobbies, is always good.
Yes.
And it's not just good on the LSAT, it's going to be good in working in the field of law.
Yes, absolutely.
And can a student find sample LSAT questions online?
Yes. The LSAC.org, the people who administer the test, they have a free sample test online. And actually, that's why I strongly prefer using the LSAC generated books, because they are all old, actually given LSAT exams.
And they're updated.
And there's a lot of them. There's 15 or 16 of them in the typical bookstore, but I am careful to choose. There's 2 books I'm using right now of the LSAC, and that's because there's only 2 of the books I found that have not only the prior administered test, but that also have the answers and an explanation for each answer, why, say, choice B was correct and why the other 4 were wrong. So that's very, very instructive.
But beyond the book, you're going to help their thinking process and help them to approach questions differently.
Yes, because we do a discussion. We're reading the passage, reading the questions and answers, but then there's a discussion of the underlying reason for why a question is correct or not, or even like what a reading really means.
How long does it take to prepare for the LSAT?
I think the longer ahead of the test that people prepare, the better off they are. In my opinion, people should set aside at least 6 months to prepare for the exam. If they can put in 9 months or a year, that's even better. And many of the people I'm working with, they have jobs or they go to school. They can't do this full time. But I would say if they can devote, say, a good 3 or 4 hours a week to test prep and working with me, 2 or 3 hours on their own and maybe an hour or 2 with me, I think they're in good shape. And
it's an important endeavor for them to consult you, because your help may make the difference in their going to law school or not, or in them getting accepted to more than one law school.
Yes, I think so. And actually, I have worked with, Ken, some students who went to the the places, I don't mean to criticize any particular test prep course. I won't name them, but they're names we've all heard of, and they're large classroom situations. And I've had students who did that and then came to me and almost uniformly told me they felt that they benefited more by the one-to-one instruction or small group instruction that I can offer.
Okay, and Joyce, is any let's say someone's successfully been your pupil, what should for anyone, what should they do in the final day to get themselves physically and mentally ready for the LSAT or any test?
Yes, I advise students, especially people who have prepared for a long time and have worked hard, I tell them, take a day or two off before the exam. Don't think about it. Don't pick up a book. I think they should rest and relax and try to boost themselves mentally to go into the exam fresh and rested. And I also suggest to people that if they're taking the test, say, on a Saturday, that they have something very nice planned for themselves on Sunday, something to reward themselves so they can look forward to.
And a big trip if they do well. I'd like to thank our guest, Joyce Behr.
Joyce Behr tutors primarily in the areas of legal test prep, paralegal studies, English, writing, history, social studies, the social sciences, and the liberal arts. Joyce also has a tutor referral service, so if a student needs assistance with a subject or exam that Joyce does not cover, then she can assist you in quickly finding an appropriate tutor. You can reach Joyce Behr by telephone at 516-776-8632. You can also contact Joyce Behr by email at lawmatch@verizon.net.
I also want to mention, if you or a friend has missed any portion of today's program, you can find a free podcast by searching WHPC on iTunes. Please join us next week at this same time for another program on Law You Should Know here on 90.3 W.3. And her phone number again is 516-776-8632.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Brandon.